Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today about how to get paid for your thinking. I'm a very unusual marketing strategist because I hate Excel. I get like allergic reactions to Excel sheets, and I love creative work. So I went to Berkeley School of Communication, of course, with other creatives. So that's my background. So today, I will take you through 5 steps how you can go from order taker to become a change maker. So I know some of you will cringe a little bit like, I'm not an order taker, like don't call me order taker, but I will tell you why I think you might be an order taker, okay? So have anyone in here, anytime, have any clients that calls you and ask you to do a specific thing? Like, I would like a logo, or I would like to have a website. Anyone in here, hands up, who had any clients who asked about something like that? Okay, most of you. This is the common thing. I mean, this is how I started everything too, that I had clients that already had described their problem, what they wanted help with. So I want you to go from that place to actually a place where you can help clients to diagnose the right problem and to get paid for that. Because if you will end up in that place, you will double your revenue. And I've seen this with hundreds of creatives that I helped. Okay? So if we think about today, like I just want you to think about your situation today, where you're at. Do you feel sometimes like clients disrespect you, that you might not get paid for everything you do, that sometimes you put in time like meetings, preparation stuff that you don't get paid for? Yeah, okay. Most people feel like that, so you're not alone. So what I will do now is to take you through like 5 steps, and hopefully this can inspire you a little bit to see like there's actually another way of doing it, but I don't have to become something else. I don't need to become a brand strategist or a marketing strategist. But if I just lead with strategy first, my business will probably change a lot. So that's what we are going to talk about today. Okay, so who am I and why should you even listen to me and even trust me? So I've been in this industry for many years. This is a couple of clients that I've been working with. You know, you always have to kind of flex with the logos. It's not a flex. It's actually just talking a little bit about my background, because I'm from an island with 400 people. It's called Torö. It's on the southern parts. If you like surfing, you might know where it is. It's where everyone likes to surf. It's about an hour from Stockholm. It's 400 people there, and I had no idea what a brand was until I was probably 12, 13. Because we mostly had second-hand clothes. Like I feel like Amish people, but we had like second-hand clothes. We didn't care. And if I got new clothes, it were probably from H&M or something like that. We just didn't care. But then I started, we were 30 students in school, 4 in my class. Then I started this bigger school. Maybe some of you have had that experience. You're 13, you start this bigger school, and out of a sudden, I noticed what a brand is. And this is my best and biggest lesson about brands, is that I didn't care about how it looked like. I didn't care about the fashion, but I did care about one thing. I wanted a pair of Levi's jeans. And the reason I wanted it, because I wanted to be like this group of people. I wanted to feel like I belonged. And that is everything a brand is. It's about belonging, it's about status, it's about identifying you with something. That's why we pay for it often. It's not just about the product. So today I don't do client work anymore, or I do some, but more as a consultant. For 5 years ago, I would never ever in my life think that I would show you this picture. So why do I show this? Today, I'm having an audience all around the world. I have almost 150,000 followers on Instagram. I'm a top voice on LinkedIn with 30,000 followers. I have thousands of creatives that I teach. This guy, Christo, who's the founder of The Future, is one of my best friends and my mentor who mentored me for 3-4 years now in my personal brand and development. And I've been doing content and things with some of the favorite authors that I have. And I was like, how the hell could that happen? Because I didn't even want to speak English in front of people 4 years ago. So why do I even tell you this? It's because I was terrified doing that. I was terrified even speaking up. I joined a community where I didn't say anything in 3 months. So I know how it is to be a shy introvert, although I'm a super extroverted person, because I didn't want to speak up. So everything you want is on the other side of that fear. It doesn't matter if it's about joining a community or it's about facilitating in front of clients or being up on stage like this, posting on social media. We just have to put ourselves out there, and when we do, we realize that it's not that scary. It's actually really fun, and people don't judge you because we're all humans and we have the same fears and insecurities, all of us. People are just like you. So for me to be able to train and help creatives all around the world is just amazing. And that's the reason why I'm here, because I feel like I've been on the consultant side. I've been CMO and CBO at Lantmännen here in Sweden with a really big budget of growing Lantmännen's brand. I met hundreds here in Sweden, creatives who pitched for me. And I always wonder, why does designers never have a seat at the table, or even creatives? Why is it always strategists, marketing strategists and business people who makes all the decisions? And then we call the creatives when it's time to do the things, to be creative. But creatives is being a good problem solver. That's what you're doing so well. So that's what I want to help you with, okay? So the first thing we need to do is to open the door to strategy, or actually open your mind to strategy, because that is like so scary. For a lot of people, it's like, what is even strategy? So maybe you don't even want to answer that, because people like, is this a trick question? You know, we need to demystify a little bit about it is. So first question. I'm looking at you now, and then I will go to you, okay? So, what is a brand? Anyone?
Feeling.
A feeling? Good. Anything else?
A vision.
A vision, okay. Anything?
Trust.
Trust, really good.
Identity.
Identity, good.
Perception.
Perception. Okay, you're just too good, guys. You're too good. Most people say, oh, it's a logo, you know, maybe it's a product, it's just a promise. I'm like, but you're right. What a brand is not what we say it is, it's what they say it is. And that comes from Marty Neumeyer. It's so true. A brand is created in the mind and heart of the people who actually are the receiver, who listens. So a brand is not the product, it's not the logo. So when you work with clients and they point at a logo and say, we need a new brand, they don't know what they're talking about, because they need a new logo, and a new logo is not the brand, okay? So the brand is the feeling people have about it, the reputation, what people say when you're not in the room. That is what a brand is. So then what is brand strategy? So then I will move here. What is brand strategy? Anyone?
Actions to the value of the brand.
Okay, so what do you mean by that?
I mean by, with the personality, the values of this brand, you create channels to communicate and get response, whatever product.
Yeah. Do you hear, guys? Can you hear her? Okay. Anyone else?
Vision.
Yes.
Values.
Good. Okay. Have you ever seen that picture of, like, I don't have it here now, but do you have ever seen that picture of the iceberg, and you can see like the water level, what's on, what you can see and what you can't see, okay? I think this is a really good example of a great brand, Oatly. I always talk about Oatly because I love that they're Swedish also, so it's a little Swedish branding. But what I think is so great with this, to show as an example, is on this small packaging, they're actually managed to do everything you want to do with the brand, because they have great messaging. They have a story about how they take sustainability seriously. They have a story about how they're founded. They do everything on this small packaging. So the reason why they can say all this and do all this, messaging, the storytelling, the design, how it looks like, is because they have a really great brand strategy. So if a brand is how people feel about this company or product, the reason we want to pay a little bit extra more than for just the product, then the brand strategy must be, how are we going to create a plan how we can actually make that happen? It's not more difficult than that. So when a lot of you focus a lot of these things, you might do packaging design, brand identity, messaging, ad campaigns, everything you do. If you don't know the foundation, how can you then ever do anything like this? Because a brand identity or communication is not just making something look pretty or fun or to win some award that is not like comes from any strategy. It's actually to know who you are, what you stand up for, why you exist, why anyone should care, what your values are, your personality, that is an extension of the values, who you talk to, what matters to them, their pain points, their challenges, their dreams, their fears. When you know that, you know what kind of product and service you want to develop. So you can create something we call flashy for value proposition. When you have a value proposition, you know how to position. So you stand out in the sea of same when everyone is the same. So you want to have something that is unique and different. So when you know all these things, you have what we call a brand platform. And from that, we need a plan. So if we don't have a plan, A to B, we don't have a strategy. Okay, so that's kind of, we need to demystify what brand strategy is, because I think most of you in here, you're actually doing a lot of brand strategy already. You just don't call it brand strategy, and probably you don't charge for it. You just start all your products with asking a lot of great questions to the client. But if you have a good way of doing that and you package it in a way that business people understand, then you can charge more money for that than for the making. That's what I want to help you with. So Oatly is a great example, but there's a reason why they're so good, because they have a great strategy. Okay, so I hope that your mindset opened a little bit. Now go to demystify the next thing. What the hell is the difference between branding and marketing? Anyone?
Branding is about marketing. Marketing is much more large.
Is more?
More large. Marketing is a much bigger area than branding. Branding is just a part.
Okay, this is so interesting, because a branding person would say the opposite. And in the US, most people say marketing is tactic, branding is strategic. Really? Okay, so I think marketing and branding is very much similar to each other. I think marketing, Seth Godin talks about it in a really good way. He said, it's the generous act of helping people get what they want. Very similar to what you actually say. Because marketing is also product development is included in marketing. So when I studied marketing strategy in school, we learned that if you're a good marketing strategist, you have like the ear to the kind of the audience all the time. You are the voice of the audience, the target audience, to know what they want. So you can be that translator into the company and actually help develop the best products. So if you think about marketing that way, isn't marketing really generous and nice? Marketing is not advertising, sending people 20 emails so you just want to jump out the window because you're so tired of that brand. That is not marketing. It's part of marketing called advertising, and it's direct marketing, and it could be really annoying. But marketing is also brand marketing, when you actually tell people and inform people about who the brand is, what they stand for, and why they should care. Okay? So the difference between marketing and branding, the way I see it, is that marketing is because you want to know about the brand. Branding is so you can feel something about the brand. For me, that's the easiest way to define them. So know about, you need to create brand awareness. Feel about, you need to motivate people to actually feel something so they want to buy it and buy it again. So branding and marketing are like siblings. We need to have them beside each other. So if you feel like there's like two camps here, marketing versus branding, we don't like each other, we just have to stop that. Because if we want to learn how to build brands, we need to learn marketing and branding. Okay, here's the next thing. Number 2, finding the problem. I think a lot of you are really good problem solvers, but are you really good problem finders? So this is how you can find new clients too. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm at IKEA with my husband, and he's pretty used to me being weird in public and take photos of everything that I get annoyed by. And he's like, "What are you doing now? We're just ordering meatballs." And I'm like, you know what? IKEA had just totally lost an opportunity to nudge people to do more, to eat more vegan food. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "But we're here waiting to buy something." I happen to know from friends who work with IKEA sustainability work that they want to nudge people to eat more vegan products. So why the hell don't they do anything about that in the menu? You know how easy it is if you're designers to design something that could actually nudge people into that behavior. Max hamburgers, for example, are really good at that. So I take a picture, so I'm like, who am I going to send this to? Because here's an opportunity for a work, you know. That's what I mean by being a problem finder. I want you to be problem finders, because then you don't need to cold DM people like, "Hey, I want to work with you." You can actually like, "I noticed something, I observed something, I have an idea around something, are you interested to have a meeting?" That's how I got almost all my clients. That's being a problem finder. Then you can be a problem solver, okay? So, then, if you want to do that, you also need to make sure that you're really good at asking questions. So when you have a meeting with a potential client, in order for you to even start selling strategy, you need to ask really good questions, because people don't want to be convinced. They want to come up with the idea themselves. So if you know where you want to go, but instead of telling them that, because I mean, you know how it is. Sometimes people reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, I think your engagement really sucks. I can help you." I'm like, "No, thank you." Like, who want to work with someone like that? But if they actually would ask me a couple of questions about my engagement, you know, on social media, I would probably open up and tell maybe a challenge I have. Maybe they can solve that. So if you can ask really good questions, that is also how we open up the mind. So it's very similar to coaching, okay? This also happened to be very similar to selling in general. So if you just start seeing marketing and sales as, I'm doing a really generous act, helping people out there to actually see their problems, and I have solutions for how to solve them. Isn't that amazing that you can do that? So then we can stop thinking about marketing and sales as something sleazy, because you're actually just really generous to people. So it's like a mindset shift. So if you will remember 3 things that you can ask if someone actually calls you or reach out to you, because that happens too, right? You have people that are happy to work with you, they refer you to friends and other people. If you have 3 questions that you will remember when you have a meeting that is really important, I would say the 3 why questions. Why me? Why do you contact me right now? What motivates you to contact me? Who else are you in contact with? Why is this important for you right now? Because when you ask that, people have to think about what are the problems we want to solve right now. Okay, instead of just, I want a new website. Is a website really the right solution for the problem? We need to take a couple of steps back. Like, what is the problem you want to solve? Because maybe there's a different solution. And why is this important now? Because if you ask that, they will start thinking about how desperate they actually are right now, and they motivate themselves to take action. So if you want to remember 3 questions, these 3 are really important. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. So now you know you can you open a mindset that all of you can be strategists. Okay, you need to stop telling people the solution right away, and you need to stop taking orders about what, so they self-prescribe the solution. I mean, if you go to the doctor, you can't go to the doctor and say, here's my problem, this is the kind of treatment I want, help me. But that's basically what a lot of your clients do when they reach out to you. You go to the doctor, and the doctor have a lot of questions so they can diagnose you correct. You just want to be the doctor who diagnoses your clients. So when we come to strategy and to strategize, there are 3 things that I think it's extremely important. If you want to seriously see yourself as more of a strategist and get paid for your thinking, you need to develop 3 things. Facilitation skills. And I know some of you are like, oh, I don't like being in front of people. I don't like talking like that. But you know what? The best facilitators I know are shy introverts, which is like 90% of all creatives. Okay? Do you know why? Any ideas why introverts makes the best facilitators? Yes. They listen. So most introverted people are extremely good at observing things around them, really good listeners, and asking really good questions, which is actually the most important in facilitation. Facilitation is not about like showing on stage and being the center of attention. Facilitation is making the client the hero and have the client in the spotlight, and you facilitate. So I hope if you feel like I'm not that kind of person, that you can feel, yes, I am that kind of person, because that will make the best facilitators. You just need to learn a little bit about how to ask questions and have a good framework. Research is also important if you want to learn strategy. And now I know most of you will be like, research, oh my God, Excel sheets again. Scary, marketing research, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not so into that either, because I don't like Excel sheets. But you know what I am into, that I think you are too? Human behavior. Like, why do people think the way they do? What about if we prototype this thing and test it on real people? How will they react? All of that is research. To do deep interviews with people, maybe 8 to 10 people, and to really understand what motivates them, what scares them, what they say when they feel safe and can open up. Those insights are the best for brands. So we put way too much in just reading like big data, big trends, because if we really understand our people, that's when we can create marketing, communication, and design and messaging that really speaks to people's emotions and heart. And we know we make decisions that are emotional. And that's what all of you are so good at. You know how to nudge people's behavior with emotions. That's why it's so important that you have a seat at the table with the marketing and business people, because they don't know how to do this, okay? So research is not that scary, and if you work with really big brands, there are companies that we can hire that do this. This is also something that's really important for me, it's frameworks. And you know, when you start offering strategy, if you do a brand identity and you want to lead with strategy first, you just don't want to go in and wing it and hope for the best. That's not the best way of doing it. You want to have a clear framework, clear exercises that you can do so you can really relax and not have to think about the structure of the meeting. You want to be able to listen in and to guide and to challenge and to help. So that's the reason why I've developed frameworks, is because you need a little bit of a hand-holding from start. It makes it so much more easy, and it makes it relaxed for the client to know, what am I going to get in the end of this? And you're like, I have a roadmap. Let me show you my process. These are the steps that we are going to take. In the end of this will be summarized in a roadmap, a clear plan, and this is what we will base every creative work going forward on. So if you have that, the client feels safe and they trust you. Okay, so number 4, from strategy to execution. So what I mean by that is, if you want to get paid for your thinking, for most of you, I hope and I think that you love the creative work too. If you would totally leave that and only offer strategy, I think you will compete with most people like me who have a marketing strategy background or even management consultants. And good luck. I'm sorry to say, but every one of those people have been studying business and know that language their entire life. That's not your strength. Your strength is the creative part. But if you add strategy before you do the creative work, then you can stand out. And even here in Sweden, I worked with so many agencies, even the biggest one, they're not great, most of them, at strategy. And they're definitely not great at strategy and creative together, because it's something called ego that comes in the way sometimes when people want to do a creative solution, that maybe it's more important to win an award or to do something that people think it's amazing than to actually solve a business problem the client have. And I'm not going to talk about any big agencies, but I worked with many of them, and I know all of you could actually compete with the best of the best if you just do strategy and the creative work. So, does anyone know who David C. Baker is? Okay, he's an author. I've been interviewing him, and he's amazing. So if you haven't read his books about strategy and becoming an expert, I highly recommend them. He's a really good writer. So he talks about strategy and execution, open the door to strategy. So what do I mean by that? How many of you in here on your websites have a focus on showing your portfolio and this design or execution of your work instead of the thinking before? How many have the thing you make, the design? Not so many. Interesting. Okay, are you designers in here, most of you? And you don't show your work? Okay, we need to see here. How many are designers? Can you raise your hand? Oh, not so many. Okay, how many are marketing people? Oh, okay, and the rest of you, what are you? Anyone?
Product developer.
What is it, product developer?
Yeah. Content creator.
Content creator. Okay, anything else?
Lawyer.
Lawyer, cool, okay. Sales and okay. There's some different things. Okay, so what I want to say with this is, if you are a chief marketing officer, something like that, or a CEO at a company, and you want to hire someone, you of course want to see how the end result looks like a logo or brand identity or a campaign. But more of all, what you actually want to see is the thinking behind it. So what is the problem that the client has? This works for content creation, whatever you do. What was the problem? What is the goal they want to reach? What was the challenge, the obstacle to reach that goal? How did we solve it, the solution, and what was the result? Okay? So if you can talk about that as case studies on your website, then you actually open the door to strategy, because people will be like, there's some thinking before they actually start making something. Okay? So I'm not saying that you're not doing execution, but you open the door to strategy first and say, you will get all this that you want, this amazing brand identity or this amazing social media solution. But in order for me to be able to do this, we need to start here first. And this is how I do it. And that could be everything from I start with a 1-day workshop or a 3-hour workshop, or I have a brand strategy framework. And then the result of that will go into now it's time on that foundation to actually start create. So that's how we start opening the door to strategy first, so you actually know that people know that if they want to work with you, you want to make sure that you're solving the right problem for them. And for me, that's really important because I feel like I have the budget of my clients. Like, I'm responsible for their budget. And I love when my clients call me and like, hey, Anneli, okay, we're thinking about next year. We don't know exactly what to do. Can we have a conversation with you so you can help guide us so we make sure that we're investing in the right thing to get the best effect? I mean, to have clients like that is amazing because you're their partner, you're their trusted advisor, and all of you can do that if you want to. Okay, so this last part, I'm a little bit late here. Your last part is your expertise. Like, see yourself. It's scary to say like I'm an expert. I don't like being like claim that I'm an expert either, but you can think about it as expertise. All of you have expertise. So if you want people to know about you, because people need to know what you're doing, you need to also to start showing people what you're really good at. And how do we do that? Because I just said, I don't think you should convince people to work with you. You want people to want to work with you. So the best way to do that is to teach what you know. You can teach what you know as I do right now in front of you. You can talk to people. You can be in a podcast. You can create content on social media. You can share everything, because if you share things generously with your clients without charging for it first, that builds trust. And then people start reaching out to you because you are the expert. In their world, you're the expert. And they want to work with you. You also need to help them find you. To do things like that, instead of only create content on social media and hope for the best, that's called inbound marketing. It's also really important to think about, like, how can clients really find me? So what can we do? We can think about our SEO. Can people even find our website? We can actually maybe invite people to things like we do now, for example. Maybe you invite 10 potential clients to a webinar or to a workshop for free. And you say, I would love to invite you to this VIP experience I will have. Because then you have 10 people who are totally focused on you, and you give all your value without selling. And they're like, oh my God, if we are going to do this, this is the go-to person. So you need to help people find you. Because everything about building a brand, either it's a company brand or a personal brand, is about know, like, and trust. So first we need to know about the brand. Here's where marketing comes in. If we don't have any brand awareness, we don't have a brand. So if people don't know that you exist, you don't have a brand. And today, most of you are on LinkedIn. So in a way, you'd still have a brand because people will think something when they see you. But it might not be the best if you're not so active or actually know how you want people to perceive you. So people need to know that you exist is the first thing. And then we need to find people we vibe with, not just in private life. It's with clients too. It's so much more fun to work with clients where we actually share some value and they believe what we believe and we help each other out. I told people right away when I did client work, I don't put lipstick on a pig. And they're like, what do you mean? Are we a pig? I'm like, I don't know yet. I don't know if you're a pig yet. And then we start to talk about their sustainability work. Because if you're not going to do the work first, the hard work to actually make things happen, then I don't want to make you look good. I want to help you to do the hard work, but I want you to put in that work and do really great products. Then we can create amazing design and marketing communication from those products. But I think we deserve better than to be like greenwash and purpose wash our clients. Because we're also responsible if we do that. So that's what I mean by putting lipstick on a pig. Are they a pig or not? I prefer to not work with pigs. You do what you do. So I think this is really important for yourself too, and this is my last thing that I want to tell you is, I know so many of you are amazing. All of you are amazing on what you do. What makes me sad sometimes is that a lot of, especially creative people, spend so much time redesigning their websites, reposition themselves, but people don't know that you exist yet. So don't spend so much time on that. Spend more time instead of telling people that you exist. Because if they don't know that, you will always be the world's best kept secret. And you deserve so much more. So if you can rethink a little bit what strategy means, what it means to marketing yourself and your clients, and that's not salesy, it's not short-term advertising, it's actually helping people to find your clients and to find yourself, to feel like you serve people and you help people instead. You become this problem seeker that can see opportunities everywhere. You're really great at asking questions, so your clients come up with the problems they have and want to hire you. You have some skills in facilitation, research, and a couple of frameworks to work with. And you also make sure that you educate people out there, you put yourself out there, and you make people aware that you exist so they can experience how wonderful you are. If you can do those things, I think you might be able to actually double your revenue and give so much more value to your clients and have much more fun every day. So, to help you a little bit with that, because I can't give you everything today, I have two things on my website that you might find valuable. I have an introduction to my 6P framework. Full disclosure, I don't think information is worth anything today. I have a best-selling course over at The Future who sold thousands to creatives. I'm super happy about that, but I actually updated that to show with a real client what I'm doing. Because real information, you can go to ChatGPT for that today. It's not worth anything. So I decided to write like an ebook. It's 176 pages or something about my brand strategy framework. It's not all the exercises, but it gives you an introduction to the steps I take, what it is, and it's for free. Because you save some time with ChatGPT. And if you would love to learn more on actually how to do it, that's what I get paid for, to train people how to do it. So the information today is free, but the training is what people get paid for. So if you want to go to my website, you can download this totally for free, so you can learn a little bit more. And on that website, I also have like a score app. It's called Score App. It's a test. It's a score, 40 questions, where you can test yourself how much you actually know about strategy. So it's kind of a fun test, and you get a little analyze and some ideas, books you can read, and other things. Everything is free, of course. So yeah, if you want to reach out to me and find everything, AnneliHansson.com. I'm the Anneli Hansson on Instagram. Here's my email, hello@AnneliHansson, and I'm on LinkedIn too. And I would love to connect with all of you if you want to. And thank you so much for listening.